So, Rajesh, you must have seen there are a lot of agencies that have popped up. A digital marketing agency, a performance marketing agency, a creative agency, or somebody who is doing all three. And then you have these biggies like Lintas and Mudra and Ogilvy. So, what is the difference? Because they both, if they both are doing like a social media brief, why is an Ogilvy charging what these people are catering in a much lesser price? What's the difference?
It's not just about the agencies asking for the price. It is also about the client willing to pay a premium to a bigger agency. Sometimes they are.
Okay.
They are willing to pay a little more to, let's say, one of the bigger agencies. And that comes from the expectation of or the assurance of consistency, of quality. Now, when I approach a small agency, I'm never too sure whether they might be able to deliver good work consistently. I come to a big agency, I am far more confident that they'll be able to deliver quality over a consistent length of, or a consistent period of time.
So it's more on credibility, first of all.
I don't credibility with a proven track record. I mean, it's not. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So I think agencies have earned their. It just doesn't come from a vacuum. It's not. They've sort of, they're respected for that consistency of good ideas that they are able to generate, which social media, agencies, digital agencies, they might have a flash in the pan. They might come up with a great idea, but not repeat it.
They couldn't churn it out the way big agencies.
The other thing is execution. I think I might be biased here, but I think the execution the production quality of a big agency is infinitely better than a digital agency.
Yeah. And the client is more assured also.
Yes.
Of the quality.
Yes.
They are very confident while going to such events.
Very much.
It is very curious, the case of Byju's. How did, and since you have worked on the brand, what was the brief and how did it come and what happened? Can you talk about it a little more?
Well, the launch campaign was entirely our baby in the sense that we had more creative control on the idea because it came from us, the insight, and also the fact there was no celebrity, there was no Shah Rukh Khan. It was just about presenting the idea in its purest, most impactful form, and that is what went through. And so it was immensely satisfying for everybody, for us, the client too, because it did make a reasonable impact. It was noticed, picked up by consumers. So it was satisfying. Now, as for the second one, now that happened probably a year or 2 years later, maybe a year.
How did they pivot into being a non-celebrity endorsed brand?
That was because they got the funds. They were like, when we were working on the Shah Rukh Khan campaign, they were really flushed. They had a lot of money to throw around. So
because of the funding.
Because of the funding. So then they, went with Shah Rukh Khan. So that, agency had very little to do with that. It was not like we suggested to the client, let's sign up Shah Rukh Khan. That decision was already made. And we were told that, hey, you got Shah Rukh Khan as a celebrity, now write some scripts around it. So that was all there was to it. It was not the most... sometimes from the outside, celebrity campaigns seem like extremely exciting. And you would think that agency people have the best possible time. But it's actually not the case, because scripts that involve celebrities are oftentimes the most boring. You have a certain personality, that the celebrity comes with. There is a brand personality, and then you have to find that middle ground. all of which can be completely dispensed with when you don't have a celebrity. Then it's just about the power of the idea, and you know, it's just much more fun. It's a personal choice, but if I have to choose between a non-celeb
and a celebrity
account or a campaign and a celebrity campaign, any day I'll go with a non-celebrity. It's just way more fun. Yeah.
Very insightful.
Not that there was anything. Shah Rukh Khan was a great fun to work with, because he's the most cooperative, and he'll you know, take in all your inputs and just.
Did you brief Shah Rukh?
No. When it comes to when it comes to celebrities, there are several layers of you know, between. If a celebrity has to say something to the agency, that will first be that message will first be passed to the manager of the celebrity. Then the manager might probably talk to the client. The client, of course, will be there for two reasons. One, just to smoothen things out in case there is a sort of in case things go in, there are disagreements. You know, he's a nice interface to have. And because the client is the one with the money,
they have to be there.
The celebrity is less likely to listen to what the client says than he or she might to the agency. So the client is always there on shoot. So so then the client will probably say, okay, you know, he'll come tell the agency what exactly the celebrity wants, what change he might want, certain change in the script.
So it has to fit in two boxes at once. एक celebrity का भी satisfaction
at the script level,
and the agency also, the client also.
But see, that is at a script level. When I'm writing this, you know, if it veers too much towards.
So, for example, a case study, if we see the Things Dad Say campaign, how did you come up with this line, and was there a...
Well, that was just about, the campaign pretty much wrote itself, because you had Shah Rukh Khan as a celebrity. Byju was trying to appeal to moms and dads. You can't obviously have Shah Rukh playing himself with his real son. So he has to play father to you know, so he's portraying a middle class Indian father, and we had to have the other diktat from the client was it had to have a national, you know, pan-Indian appeal. So
that
therefore,
is why different costumes.
So that is why you have a Tamil father, you have a Tamil Shah Rukh, you have a Punjabi Shah Rukh, you have. So,
for example, like getting a celebrity like Shah Rukh Khan, who has such a great stardom and a star power that attaches to a brand. Now, I remember when I saw those ads, because you see them because there is Shah Rukh Khan, and using him, making him like a Tamil dad, a Bengali dad, an Indian dad. So what is happening is you are seeing his acting prowess more than the brand that he's endorsing. And this happens with a lot of brands, that the celebrities has overpowered the brand itself. How do you strike that balance?
But in this case, though, I beg to differ. I don't think, because, you know, it was very clearly an ad for Byju's, because you know, it was
memorable.
Probably no, not about memorability. Just the fact that Byju's itself, the brand name might have been said some 4 times. There was the kid had a, you know, an iPad, or he was staring at a computer screen. So it was very evidently about an online class.
But there are brands, I mean, where the celebrity has...
Yeah, of course. But that oftentimes that also has to do with the script itself, where you allow the celebrity to overpower the brand. And there is a bit of, the client too can be held responsible, because he's the one who's taking the calls and is signing off on a particular film. So it's not just the agencies.
So in this case, you were the one writing scripts, and
so it was a team effort. There was me, there were
a
couple of other writers in the team, and there was my boss. There were, you know, it was quite a. There would have been about 10 people in the team. working together.
Was it fun?
It was fun, but the first one was a lot more fun.
The without the celebrity.
Without the celebrity. That's
Which part, like the brainstorming?
Yeah, the brainstorming, arriving on the insight.
On the idea.
Yes. All of that was way more fun. I mean, just the love for learning, the love of learning itself was, an online app saying, an online class saying that, hey, learning is something, maths is something that you can actually fall in love with, was a fresh sort of an insight, a space to be in for a tutorial.
How was Economic Times? And
working on Economic Times was
because they have made some remarkable ads.
Yeah, when we got on to Economic Times, we had some really big shoes to fill, because it was previously held by Enterprise, and the power of knowledge, and if you are familiar with the campaigns that were done by Muhammad Khan, those campaigns were so legendary, we couldn't have pulled off anything like that, because times too had changed. I mean, there was those sort of campaigns were not the need of the hour for the brand. They wanted more topical stuff. Every second day there was an Economic Times ad going out. So the pressure to deliver was intense, because Economic Times had free space away. I mean, it was their own newspaper, and they are making these ads for themselves. So they will brief you today and expect an ad day after tomorrow, because space is not an issue. So we had to be fairly prolific. It was quite a...
So how big a team was dealing with these deadlines?
It was a small team, because print was not something that anybody wanted to touch with a barge pole. It was, nobody really wanted, though from the outside it might seem like Economic Times, classic print work. You would want to kill your mother to work on Economic Times, but that really wasn't the case. It was a matter of competence. There weren't that many good writers going around, and nobody wanted to work on print because it didn't give you the same fame that a film might. I mean, after all, this ad is going to come in the Economic Times. How many people read the Economic Times, right? Your boss might read it, but your super boss, the CFO might read it. but who cares if the CFO reads it? It doesn't really impact your career, right?
Why do you think advertising hasn't gotten the kind of, let's say, fame, for a lack of a better word, or hasn't got glamorized the way film industry has? Because you have some really creative people in this industry.
There's no reason why advertising should be glamorized. Why should advertising be glamorized at all? It should be just another, for the same reason that why is the auto industry not glamorized? Now you can be a designer, in the Tata Motors team, but it's not like that designer whose work is actually as impactful as anything that we advertising people do, actually way more so. But he's not demanding that he be recognized, not just by the auto industry, but it's not like he's expecting the common man to know who he is. Why should advertising people feel this need?
I'm just asking out of curiosity, since this industry affects the common man more than films, and on a deeper level.
Yeah, but nobody really needs to.
Today you don't go and buy Maggi or ramen. You go and buy Nestle's Maggi.
You do, but
you go and buy Colgate. You go and buy. You don't buy a toothpaste. There are so many associations, and of course there are people behind these placements.
Yeah, but why should they be? My question is, why should they feel the need to be celebrated?
Okay.
If their work, if they get the respect that is due to them from the industry, that's good enough. If my bosses love my work and say, hey, you deserve a 20% increment, right? If also I happen to win an award or two, and if my work is, that should be good enough for me. I don't think one needs, it's not like I need to tell everybody, on the planet just how wonderful a creative person Akash is. That's not important. So I don't think people need to be celebrated as much as the work itself. In celebrating my work, you're celebrating me. It's the way I see it.
Oh, okay. It's like, there's a Japanese saying, I think, where Japanese potter should disappear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You should hide behind your work. You are not. You don't stand in front of it and say, "Hey, this is my work." Right.
Then how come people like Piyush Pandey or R. Balki stand out?
Yeah, because they are not just creators. See, that's a call that an advertising person
Because
also
if
is
you
making.
see their work, they are standing out of it.
Yeah, but they are not just. Piyush could well have decided not to become a leader. They stand out not because of their advertising alone. It's because they have put their hands up and said, hey, I'm going to be a leader.
Okay.
You can decide to be a creative person who does not want any of the recognition. Piyush could well have chosen, or Balki could have said, okay, I'm going to just make let's say a Pepsodent Dishum or Hoodie Baba, and not really just be sort of not so, be a little invisible. It's possible.
Yeah. It is possible for a lot of creative people.
But if you're seduced by and if you love the spotlights,
Then why
more
not?
power to you. I mean, yeah. And of course, if you're a leader, you will have to love the spotlights. You are going to. So therein lies the
Explore that.
difference. You can be a creative person and decide to be invisible. But once you become a leader, that is not an option you can ever exercise.
That's true. I would really love to discuss this campaign, NaMo versus corruption,
Yeah. So
by Economic Times.
yeah.
So how did this come up?
Well, we were.
And this is so unlike a NaMo campaign.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know how it emerged, but those were the early years of
This is which year?
I wouldn't know the exact year, but I'm thinking this might have been about 2016 or 15, 16 maybe.
Okay.
So these were still the...
So post him becoming the Prime Minister.
Yes, and he was still seen as, he was still sort of trying to become this, how do I put it? He still hadn't become the savior of the nation, which the sort of reputation, or the way he's seen right now is not how he was back then. So back then it seemed to sort of, it reflected the sentiments of the people also, to sort of portray him as this combative sort of a person who's going to take India out of the economic doldrums. And
is this post Notebandi?
It would have been around that time, where he was, beginning to emerge as a sort of a messiah for the country and all the ills of the economy. And so we were just riding on a popular sentiment.
Okay.
And now to come up with a campaign like this might seem a little redundant.
Yeah.
But back then the timing was just, the timing was right. As briefs go back then, I mean, the brief was probably just...
Because it is highly, even seeing the design language,
Yeah.
it does not resonate with the
It's
kind
not
of NaMo
Economic
ads.
Times. It's not a classic Economic Times
Yeah,
ad.
yeah.
It was more. If Modi had to do an ad, a campaign, if Prime Minister Modi had to do a campaign, then it would, if the brief was Prime Minister Modi, then this is just the apt campaign.
Okay.
And in fact, we were sort of told to, because it's about the first 100 days of him being in power. So Economic Times is secondary. How best can you sort of make this an ad about the Prime Minister?
I remember in my work life, bosses telling that we want award-winning concepts. That is the brief.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other thing that this is the brand, this is what they do, you have to strategize, figure out a positioning, this, that, nothing. It's just, this is the brand, we want an award.
Yeah, which is that's a problem with the bosses.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem right now is that people and not just bosses, creative people themselves. I mean, let's say if you're a writer 3 years into the business or 5 years, you haven't even learned the finer aspects of coming up with an effective ad, right?
True.
You haven't even you haven't even made an effective piece of communication, and you're thinking of awards. I think it's you first need to be able to develop effective communication over a period of time consistently before you can even think of doing creative, award-winning ads.
Yeah.
I think that is the kind of, because you can actually do an award-winning ad once, like a great award-winning ad just once, and that's it. That might be the end of your career. But that does not make you a great creative person. What makes you a great creative person is if you have done effective communication, good effective is good over like 5 years.
Yeah.
Now that is far more, is tougher and far more creditable than just like one award-winning, one lion that you won.
So you're
that
talking
is
about repeated genius.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is far tougher to do,
Yeah. True.
and which is not inculcated enough in advertising agencies.
Working into an agency, when you have people around and all the creative people are brimming with ideas, has it happened that while you are into a creative block, the idea has come up with somebody really unexpected?
Oh yeah, that happens.
Can you recall an incident or?
No, it happens quite often.
Okay.
Sometimes, the business person who you would think is just the most dense individual will say something completely without even intention, just says something which makes absolute sense, right? And that is the basis for whatever idea that you might come up with. So it happens quite often.
Like,
There might be something your mom says, like you tell your mom that, hey, you look stressed out. Your mom asks you, what are you working on? And you just happen to tell her there is this project, and she might just come up with some very basic truth, which you completely lost sight of because you are thinking of very creative sort of cuts to it, whereas the most obvious sort of expression is just out there.
going back
and
to the basics, basically.
yeah, sometimes, which is why it's important to talk to just average people, because they will come up with expressions which are just very basic and everyday. You can use that as your inspiration for, in fact, oftentimes that is the idea. A phrase that your mom says can well become the
entire campaign.
Be the tagline, right, for your campaign.
Yeah.
Right. So it can.
Do you think is it because they have the most, for lack of a better word, a layman approach to seeing at the idea, and they just come up with something which just resonates with everyone?
Probably, I'm saying it does. Probably that, or
because they don't see it in the way we want to present.
I mean, if you're talking about people who are not in advertising. Yeah, of course.
They just cut down the edges and say ki this is how.
Yeah, absolutely. They are not. They don't try to package it, right?
Yeah.
We are trying to package an idea. They tell it as they see it, right? So,
what do you see? There are a lot of Gen Zs now that are entering into this industry. Since we are in 2025, a lot of people have now that entry layer is now getting filled with all the Gen Z people, and I think they are a great.
As it should. I mean, entry level. I'd be really worried for the profession if it's being filled with millennials and boomers and. I mean, yeah.
So somebody like you, what would you like to advise them? What would you like to
advise?
Somebody who has just started, or somebody who is just going to get started.
The one thing that I tell them is just advertising, the business of ideas is fun, and there will always be people and powers out there that will try to take the fun out of it. But you'll have to, it's a little bit like falling in love and getting married.
Okay.
You fall in love with somebody, you see something in him or her which totally appeals to you.
Or they, if we are talking about Gen Z.
Whatever, huh?
Or they.
Yeah, or they, whatever. Let's not get into the gender and pronouns. And you see something in your partner you absolutely love, and you decide, I'm going to be with this individual for the rest of my life. You get married. Over time, chinks appear, flaws start to emerge, and then you start, you feel like you don't quite, there are things that you find absolutely disgusting about this person, right? Now, at this point in time, what do? Do you just pull out of the relationship and say, hey, I'm done. I don't like this. I don't like this relationship. Or do you stay? Because if you really love this individual, you think back about all the things you found appealing in that individual. And if that still has enough pull, you decide to stay back. And it's the same with advertising.
Okay.
You get into the business just because you love ideas, and there will be things that will happen, things happening that will sort of question your love. At that point, you need to think about what made you get into the profession, right? And that is when you decide to hang back.
True.
That's all so always go back to your love for ideas.
Wow, that's a great way to put it.
I mean, that's the only analogy that
because
I can.
Turbulence will be there.
Turbulence will be there. That's part and parcel of everything, every activity that you decide to engage in. Even the ones that you. It's like getting into cricket or something. Imagine a cricketer falling in. He's in love with the sport. He gets into the national side and then says, "Hey, this coach is just being an asshole."
True.
And then you say, oh, "Screw it. I'm."
Or any other reason.
Or I mean, I don't love the sport anymore.
Yeah.
Cricketers don't do that. They, they labor through all of it just because they love the game so much. And I don't think it should be very different from a creative professional.
Great.
The difference though is the cricketer makes a hell of a lot more money, which is also an incentive for him to stay.
Yeah.
but that is for another day and another podcast.
Thank you so much. And I think that's a great note to end
Thank
the
you.
podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.